Hi guys, this is Dark Whispers here, and today I'm going to be continuing from where I left off in my previous video, which is with chapter 1 on Corey Taylor's 7 Deadly Sins, and I've finished off chapter 1, then I'll continue on to chapter 2, the rest of chapter 2. I hope you find this the way I read the book relaxing, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so I'm going to start where I finished off last time and then just carry on, just to give you a quick reminder of where we were. So, this book is a few parts light, a handful of fancy, and a lot of why there is such a thing as freedom of the soul. We are vessels of profound depth, where we have an inkling about why we are. So why should we be saddled with inferred differences when we feel the same? Just because we think something does not really make it a sin. Just because we want to feel something doing so does not make us sinful. Just because we feel does not make us sinners. There is real vitality, letting yourself indulge in what life has to offer. Quicken your spirit, and you might just save your soul. Okay, maybe I am offering a hint of salvation after all. There is, of course, also nothing wrong depriving yourself of sins. But too many people put themselves on a pedestal, denying themselves simple things. Please be pious on your own time. We're all alive in here. Maybe with this book you can figure out some things out. Most likely it will just help me work out some serious shit from my own life. I may be a fuck, but I'm not an absolute fuck. Sure, I have done some things I'm not proud of. What I would not call them sins, I would call them mistakes. But you're not allowed to learn from sins, because they're held against you for the rest of your life. That is, unless you're a Catholic. Confession is like a fine print in an airtight contract. But I'm sure most of the faithful envy mistakes. Well, hell, we all make mistakes. What more are we expected to learn from them? It is part of our journey. It is how we move from innocence to resounding wisdom. It is how we keep from retaining the fucking baby psyche well into our 90s. It is how everyone keeps from shitting themselves in public and on each other. It is how we learn ever adapting GPS for this thing called life. Let me give you an example. At one of the several mundane jobs I held down before I became the artist known as Corey fucking Taylor, I had unbelievable access to all the resources and wealth that we have therein. I took every opportunity to fleece the coffers by using my position and my knowledge of their security systems to do so. It was so easy to steal from this place that even the managers were doing. So I joined in. Not because I am inherently wanton, but because I was fucking broke. And I made less than jack shit. Now, I had not stolen anything in years. I had gone through my shoplifting phase when I was 13, and it was run-of-the-mill stuff like candy bars and Playboy magazines. So it was a novel sensation to skin tills, steal merchandise, and have sex in my place of business. To put it another way, I was basically Caligula of the graveyard shift. I was a total scumbag. I stole more money in one night than I actually made in 1 week. I had orgies in the back rooms, and I walked away with thousands of retail products. But the real reason I did was because I could. Is that a good reason? Not at all. To this day it makes me sick to think about it. It was a period in my life that I look back on in shame. It should not have mattered if one was doing it, or if the people who owned the business still might have deserved it because they were crooked as fuck. Keeping hundreds of dollars out of thousands of dollars off the books while paying us serfs like newsies. I have always been vehemently against theft, but there I was, robbing people blind and not giving a shit what the consequences were. I took advantage of a system I was entrusted to maintain, and I squandered on avarice and greed. When it was over, I never stole another thing again. I do not take pride in that fact. I just know my boundaries, and that is one I have vowed never to cross. But in retrospect, if I had not gone that far in the first place, who is to say I would feel that way now? If I had not done these things, who is to say I would be as indignant about it today? So the misguided acts of my past had brought me to my virtue, letting me to the virtues of my present, and will hopefully lead me to the grace of my future. But I do not consider them sins. I consider them mistakes. Capriciousness in the face of youthful abandon. I found my moral limit because I crossed my own line, and I did not feel good about it. No one can hold me accountable. That is a job for my conscience and my soul. I am the only judge of what I am capable of, because who really knows me but me? Whoever really understands the road I have travelled if they can't even find it on a map? The difference between knowing yourself and trusting yourself is minute, but its repercussions are imminent. Now, Lotta about will refute by saying he knows you better than you know yourself. Yet that is great, but seeing myself I have never been I have never seen any proof of existence besides the holistic ramblings of billions of followers. I take that my chances with myself very much. Like I said, nobody knows me better than myself, and I learn from my mistakes. Can you imagine how boring life would be without some little spices? You talk about sloth, but why would men and women get out of bed if there were no lust? Why would people want to be in a band if they couldn't feel the rush that rage brings to the musical table? Why would anyone want to be a bleeding heart without a hint of gluten at death in yourself? Why would you want to go round if there were but a few rules to break, a few revolutions to make? Let's put it this way: why would you want to take a deep breath if you expect to hold the damn thing? Sure, I'm making a case for independence, but then again, most petty sins are simply excuses to buck the system and feel alive. Why have free will if you cannot put a few miles on the first? It is like comparing felonies and misdemeanors. Stealing candy is not the same as murder, and lust does not always mean rape. It is important to remember these distinctions before we go any further. If you can't, you'll never get my humour, and you'll always think I look fat in this skirt. Damn, there's my vanity coming out again. Oh, who am I kidding? I could just be looking for an excuse to be a lecturer's mook. That is half the fun, right? Remember, when you were a kid, you would try any improbable excuse to get out of trouble. That could very much be the case here. I do not want to be saved. I just do not want to burn. I mean, I am cynic, but I am not an idiot. I could be off in my assumption that there are no pearly penthouses in the sky, no vengeful angels waiting to smack me around with the halos to shake the excess rust off my boat. What do I know? I do know this. There are loopholes in the laws. This year, or the next, I am jumping through with both boots because life is supposed to not to be fucking dull. We are walking, talking, breathing reasons for beating the odds. And I do not believe, after all of that, we are meant to spend this miracle master of the art of knitting. Unless, of course, you really like knitting. I do know it does not take a sinner to sin. It does not take doubting Thomas to feel guilty. We are all cut from the same cloth. We all have bouts of insanity, but these These are not just the rapturous whims about an armoured skins. I defy anyone from Gandhi to Gallagher to show me they are not susceptible to swinging pleasure on any level, whether it is a chocolate bar or an orgy at a swingers club. Sin is so ingrained into our culture that we are all capable and culpable of our very universe, and it's not expanding to make room for better, liberal ideas. Thrives that we cannot or should not have. So if you can afford the down payment, why should you not exploit it? If you still have the stamina, why should you not attain it? The haves and have-nots have been doing bloody battles for aeons. The class system has been part of our lives since the day we started washing our clothes. Is that not part of this whole thing as well? As if you are a little better off, you can turn your nose up at the masses and say they are where they are because they did not try hard enough. That the sin of the poor is sloth and envy because they long for what we have, and are not willing to sacrifice for the bounty that life can provide. If you are on the other side of the tracks, you can ball your fists up and say that the bourgeoisie were handed the wealth, that sinners on every layer, sinners on every level, greed, gluttony, lust, and vanity, across the board. Morals and superstition have controlled the best of us for centuries. They have also allowed intelligent minds to give credit to deities that may not exist for human advances and virtues for much longer than I have been alive. So the dark side of the lucky penny comes at the hidden agendas of the egocentric. Sure, you cure cancer in the name of God's will, but if you want to descend the decadent pig, you are. Why should you not fuck for God? Why should you not attack a Vegas buffet for Jehovah? Double standards are too frequent. No one is better. No one is making a case for the defence. Besides, where is the fun in being a zealot? Taking yourself too seriously gets you seriously fucked up. Zealots are a reason to point fingers and blast to take responsibility. They lead from the fear that survived by running away, just so they can infect some other group who do not know any better. I want to be very clear. I have no idea what I'm going to say next. My point is to make people think so they will not agree with everything I say. The difference between a philosopher and a fanatic is about as thin as the profit margin accuracy man. But at the end of the day, it is very clear. The philosopher thinks out loud to make things better for everyone else. Fanatics make themselves loud because they think they are better than everyone else. All I am saying is that there have to be choices. You live once. You are given this gift of flesh and sentient thought, and you want to hold up a cave in your own life. What about adventure? What about excitement? What about rewriting the rule book to concur with a society that doesn't believe in fairy tales? The Constitution of the United States is occasionally amended to reflect the mood of the people, but it is staunchly defended as well. So why not look at the facts, not at the fables, but set your deadly sins by being greed, gluttony, lust, pride, wrath, envy, and sloth should be changed to 7 petty sins. Outdated and hardly deadly, barely PG-13 in this decade. What about murder? What about theft, embezzlement, and the Ponzi schemes? You do not have to steal to be greedy, but you do not have to be greedy to be still. It may seem redundant, but take a second and think about it. It will make sense too terrible to let go. The time has come for spiritual reshuffling, a kind of esoteric game of bingo. We can make a world based on common sense if we really wanted to, but we do not. That is a sin in itself. We have the intelligence and wherefore to build a better mousetrap. but reliable, very happy to run the game by the old rules. When punishment gets good to you, the time may be overdue to reevaluate the allegiance you place in your guides. That's like ending up addicted to Ben Gay because you're used to being on your knees. Make my life. I would rather see people enjoy themselves being to and pray with things that just naturally work out. I'd rather see my generation realise the potential things and slowly warp itself in the design of the one that preceded it. Most would rather have you toe the party line that link outside the box so much. For the self-sufficient concept, satisfaction should always come at a cost, but the payoff should be manifest almost instantaneously. But I have hope. At the end of it all, that is what this book is about. Hope that people can stop holding themselves back even slightly and start realising potential they never dreamed existed. Hope that people can carry the bricks of guilt and self-disgust and use them to build a foundation of their own morals, not someone else's expectations. The strong from the past always plant the seeds of the future. We have great reserves of good in us that I have seen first hand. Ancient Bibles until we fully have walked the way towards the life that makes you more sense and makes more sense and less obvious. I want this book to make you decide whether or not your suppositions are worth holding on to rather than just using them as excuses to appear kind and someone importantly watchable. This book is about the fun you can have when you stop holding yourself back. It is a look at life you could have got. It is a look at life that could have gone horribly wrong, and yet, with the right head on its tattooed shoulders, it took the right way toward a better way. What was the aim? I could have become something to despise. Instead, I found out to be more than anyone expected, and I did it on my own terms. But I had some serious fun along the way, because I never limited myself. Never. I live at the speed of my mind, and with the strength of my heart. I am happier than I have ever been, but only because I know where I have been. You can push the boundaries as far as you want, and if you know where the state line is. You sometimes forget that time is on our side, not blocking for the other team. I have nothing against God, but it is not because I am not an unbeliever. It is mainly because I have never met him, and based on this track record I do not need to. If God does exist, and I am not saying he does, but if he does, he is like a football team with a .500 record. Sometimes he gets it right, and sometimes he doesn't. I had to be honest, even Miss Cleo had better stats than that, and she had her own commercial. Before you say, sure he does, the fucking Crystal Cross does not count. Putting the Lord's Prayer beside it seemed like it's some holy moly master. It's not cool. It is just plain creepy. Those are the same people who sell you movable smokeless fireplaces made by the Amish. Yeah, like we believe that kind for a red hot minute. This is the first step towards letting go of the mythological rules and grabbing onto one another. Human being to fucking human being. Hands across America style to reach the next damn step in evolution. I say we should leave behind our tiny gods and their baselines with their expectations. I say we drop our old bags in the garbage and buy new shit at the airport. We should be escaping the plastic bliss of the deities we create and seek new employ through the metaphysical craveness search. Stop the presses. Earth just realised it could do what it wants. Let me ask you. If you were God, you could have and do anything. Just a thought. Why would you hang on to this experimental outcome any longer than it takes to turn your head and to build another one? We are not papists, the papists. We are not extras in Jehovah's stupid fucking film. We are a race of people trying to find answers. And to me, religion is kind of like last year's textbooks, out of date, and too many notes in the margins from the last fucking guy. Maybe people will figure it out, then again, maybe not. As much as in our nature is to fight, it is also in our nature to follow the person in front of us. Honestly, it is not. That is not an admonition. That is just us. We the people, we are the women. There is just enough piss and vinegar in ourselves to shuffle off the baggage of this whole mortal coil to get to enlightenment. And the seven deadly sins should be the first to go. So open your minds and read on. Keep in mind the state of life and go forward. If I am prepared for the repercussions, you should be prepared for the tiny little weapon. It is your life, not theirs. Forget the buzzwords and bullshit issues, and think for your fucking selves. When the books open up, we should be throwing the wrenches in the plot for better days and better ways. When that happens, we will be students again, ready to pass our test with flying colours. My credo is to treat everyone like it is their birthday, but handle them as if they could throw up on the cake at any moment. In the end, this is not an area for sitting on the fence. This is an area to tear that fucking fence down. Make your mark and find yourself. Just do not forget to leave those so-called sins behind. The great thing about believing is that the door goes both ways. You can do what you want. I just want you to want what has always been yours to have. The way is never shut. If the light you seek is bright enough, if you are feeling a little dark, you can change your bulb. Never let the limits of your understanding dictate how far you can go. We can be better. We can just be. Trust me, it is simple as that. Okay, that's chapter 1. In the next part, we'll start chapter 2. Chapter 2. Wrath of the God. Okay, before we go any further, let's just get something straight right now. I know I am opening myself up for the bitter cross-examination here, but frankly, I have had it. It's a simple fact I know, and you know deep down, in the same weird waiting room of your soul, where we all agree, for example, was never fun. You know this to be true because nobody is willing to come out and say it. I will be the motherfucker and make it official. Movie theatre nachos are not real nachos. They are not. Movie theatre nachos are nothing more than chips and dip. First of all, you do not put your own nachos together. You certainly did not put them together in a giant dark room with no table. Second, real nachos are more than just shitty tortilla triangles with a sealed Dixie cup full of spicy bunny filled inside. And I don't care how long you record that from, real nachos are an event. A glorious coloring of meats, cheeses, peppers, chipotle, sour cream, guacamole, and crispy maize sauces. For 2 or more people bent on abdominal deconstruction, nachos should be a spontaneous conflagration. Majestic Tex-Mex experience in which every bite is delicious, yet no 2 bites taste the same. Movie theatre nachos are a fucking lie. They are a public travesty to all things edible. Moral distraction brought on in an attempt to reshuffle a stagnant mint produced by an industry pigeonholed by their own reviews of snack time. It is not our fault their most popular items are the same 3 years. Popcorn, soda pop, and candy. But they did it to to themselves. If they had started out with a wider array of foodstuffs, we would not be even having this damn conversation. But I will not let my beloved nachos fall victim to this. I will fight with every breath to keep my nachos pure and disgustingly elaborate. Every motherfucker's good. Now I am pissed. So this is the perfect time to talk about wrath. You know the feeling. Darkness boxes your line of sight. On either side, your vision gets blurry. You can almost see demons in the trails your eyes trace across them. There is bile that seeps more than saliva in the back of your mouth. Your fists clench and unclench until the palms of your hands tear open and the blood starts to saturate to the ends of your fingers. Mapping out events that led to this debilitating state of mind. Psychologically, you can shift several ways. You can become loud and abrasive, abusing friends and family, cursing or aggressing intellectually. You can also slip into a deadly silence, the calm before the storm, suffocating the world with the quiet, knowing before the world breaks loose. One thing will always remain the same. As passion goes, wrath or rage is nearly distinguishable from love. Its intense intensity, two epic ends of the maelstrom that makes us human. Sure, it looks fancy. It's easy to wax poetic about the simple emotional mechanism. We all know the feeling too well. Some people cry, most scream, their throats bloody. But it is truly one sin on our list that unites us. Most of us can cope or subdue our lusts, our appetites, our lack of drive, our selfish sides, our tendencies to covet, and so on. But we all get mad. Admit it. Just fucking admit it. We all get mad. Personally, I do not see anything wrong. To rage is to feel just like love and hate. But those things are not part of our so-called deadly sin. I wrote twice. There is a fine reason why rage is not a sin. When used for venting purposes, can be so cathartic. It feels good to get shit off your chest, even if it is someone else's tail stuck in the hairs. We cry, yell, complain, vent, rant, rave, retort, and expunge, because it feels really good to do so, and there's not a damn thing bad about it. It is a way for us to let our breath clear the air and get back to what this species should be doing in the first place, dancing in the streets, happy to be alive. However, wrath is the one sin on the list that whose darkness is immediately recognizable, because it has a feeling that can be reciprocated instantly. In other words, rage is very contagious. All it takes is that little push, that little extra bit of selfish violation. It can pierce the very time in which you are witnessing a bringing on sadness that can linger for a lifetime. Fortunately, a strong mind can blame the person, not the rage. Unfortunately, I have seen the damage firsthand. I was 11 when these experiences became part of my life, and after this, innocence became very hard to come by. I had to grow up quick, and I did not do a very good job. It is amazing and sad. What can we have to do to survive sometimes? Every source of protection came crashing down when I saw the ugly side of humanity. My sister and I were staying at a house of a friend, my mother's, after a barbecue one night. We were only a few miles away from home. I believe everyone stayed because everyone we came there with was loaded and did not want to drive to get home, so they could get out in the morning and catch free before having to crawl back to the responsibilities of real life. What a crock. There was no shielding me and my sister. For years we were exposed to every source of hate and anger possible. What happens to you when everything happens to you? We were staying in the living room. I had one couch and my sister had the other. The house we were staying in was rented by some people I will refer to as Tom and Christine, mainly because I worked very hard to forget their names. They were what I call professional adolescents, because they were in their 30s but still had like they were 16, watching delinquents play house. It's a lot like watching monkeys play poker, just when it seems like they know what they do, put shit on other people. Tom was out of work, but for all intents and purposes, he was most together of the two. He would actually hang out with the kids, make lunch, and take care of us. Christine was just plain fucking drunk and drug addict. She was a hole for men to fill up because she thought it meant they cared about her. She had 3 kids with 3 different guys, all of whom Tom took care of. Kudos for that. She was second hand, woman in third hand, obnoxious, loud, and ignorant. She did not give a shit about anything, and it certainly showed how Tom could live with her. I never understand, but he did not live with her for that night after the barbecue. Christine had barely to go to another party. She did not even talk to anyone about it, just up and left her kids to go and find more alcohol and bullshit. I believe my mum went with her because I do not remember where she slept that night. I do remember is watching Tom getting angry at Elaine as the hours went by, and Christine still was behind him. He put her kids to bed. She was still emotional. He sat down to watch TV with me and my sister. Nothing. Sometime after that, we fell asleep on the couches. Tom passed out in the easy chair. Nobody came home. Nobody had come home yet. I woke up to the sound of something pounding on the doors really loudly. Just as I curiously raised my head, it became very obvious that the pounding was in fact kicking. Someone was kicking the door because the deadbolt was engaged. It all happened in slow motion. Tom was jumping out of the recliner. The door was crashing. Christy was standing upstairs with a 40-ounce blood in her hand. Tom punched her in the face. Christine flew backwards into the yard, too drunk to defend herself. She was yelling for and calling Tom every name in the book at the same time. Tom had nothing but the silence that had built up. The many hours she had not been undone, she had been gone, leaving him with a house full of children who were not his own. So these broken people could go through their personal voids with the parties that should have ended in high school. All he could feel was his feet kicking her in the back, and he was on top of her, choking her. In the distance I heard an unfamiliar voice warning the blood lovers that they had called cops, but Tom did not care. All he could feel was the pain of the flex and being taken advantage of, being disposable afterthought in comparison to his wants and needs. All he could do was give into the rage that was welling up and venting from like a renegade steam engine, ready to blow if someone not hit the pressure up in time. He was a bomb with 2 fists, Vesuvius with a pulse. He wanted to destroy. I watched it all, including the inevitable aftermath. Christine running away, Tom chasing her, leaving all the kids by themselves. I sat up and waited with the younger ones. The cops showed up, hands wielding their guns. My sister started screaming, which set up the other kids. I told the police they had fled to the night. A few of them ran in the approximate direction. Sometime later, Tom was led back in handcuffs. Christine was screaming from the cop car. An officer was asking me for my phone number. Mum's roommate boyfriend came to pick us up, took us home. The sun was coming up. My sister was quiet for several days. We never saw those people again. Rage is not a sin, but it can be the trigger that makes us commit the sins. The real problem comes when we bottle up emotion and ignore the fact we need to let ourselves be angry. Bad things happen when good people pretend nothing is wrong. I am sure Tom was a fairly decent person, just as I am certain that Christine cared about her kids. My judgments are based on the vague memories from an 11-year-old's point of view. I remember the emotion more than the circumstances. these things stuck with me because the shit like that happened all the time. My sister and I were not protected from raw hate and powerful anger. It showed me with the right push and the right pressure, anyone could be hurt at any time. That in turn, in turn made me angry, made me hate the world, made me distrust anyone. It was not fair. I should not have had to grow up. I turned into music. Most people turn it into crime. But then again, I still maintain that rage is not a sin. When properly expressed, aim can be beneficial. Some of the best art in the world is angry, jolting, and aggressive. Moderation. Always practice moderation. You cannot place blame on for one simple reason. If you could blame one, you must blame. If that is the case, then we are both guilty. The people who watched did nothing are guilty. The ones who laughed and thought it was funny are guilty. The ones who suffered instead of saying something are guilty. Imagine a country of nothing more than the names of the people involved, and you will get the idea. The flip side is the rusty coin that rage can make us do things. Have you ever been so mad you could say it? Have you ever been so mad that you could just blurt out the most ludicrous shit to man? It is base idiocy. This is a base idiocy that can be as infectious as the very anger itself. Try talking to someone when you are pissed off. Words escape you, and just everything gets louder and louder, to the point when you're using monosyllabic words and belting your lungs. You sound like an auctioneer with Tourette's syndrome. To an outside observer, the telltale signs of someone getting angry can be hilarious as well. The face might get red, and purple. They might start smiling, laughing, or they shake their heads. Their lips might purse, and their eyes will get all squinty. Their heads may channel Eastwood or Steven Seagal. What? Their hands, they could either start squeezing or sweating, depending on their mentality. Teeth might actually grind if their mouths don't go slack from incredulous shock. All of these things are incredibly fucking funny to me, and I tend to find myself giggling when people are incensed. That in turn exasperates the situation. I cannot help it. It is awesome, and then it drives me nuts when people do it to me. I become uncontrollable. I have to walk away to keep it from firing off. Since I unwashed myself your spiritual record. So how is it something you feel almost every day is counted against you? I get it. Rage can send someone down a disturbing path that can contribute to actions of questionable purity. But getting pissed shouldn't mean getting burned. To be mad is to react to a moment be under control. Reacting to something you cannot control. It's life in a nutshell. How the fuck is that a sin? Let me clear you real self. Actually, it is more like a shame, or a sad fact. Around the 1990s, it became all the rage to start screaming in heavy metal music. Nothing wrong there. I was one of the progenitors of that whole movement, and I screamed my dark little heart out every night. But then, something truly fucked happened. People started mistaking the screaming for genuine emotion. Rage became synonymous with all good feelings, like all you had to do was appear passionate or scream in a metal band. Oh, he is so emotional. Judas fucking Priest, are you kidding me? Jazz singers get on stage and bare their souls every night. Nobody gives a shit. Fuck it. The lead singer of the band loved Landfill, with a logo that is completely illogical and hackneyed, just like the music. sparks the vocal equivalent of vomit into a SM57 with healthy doses of fuck and dad, and people call him the next Jim Morrison. It is not the emotion you are experiencing, but the experience you are engaging. You cannot be defined by the feeling if no one knows what you are feeling. So it is the reaction that is the quote-unquote sin. Why is the church so scared of people feeling anything? I have a theory. I think it's because organised religion makes such an effort to control what people do that it makes sense to control how people feel. Rage in particular can cause, particularly because it is a natural reaction to anyone or anything controlling their lives. So how do you get people to stop getting mad when you tell them what to do and how to think? Tell them it's a sin. That is what's called self-realizing philosophy. It is also virtually impenetrable. The further you get away from the actual inception, in my belief state, you might have been able to observe something so manipulative. Today, with hundreds of years of dogma and successful brainwashing under their belt, you can pound your fist against the wall of blind acceptance. All you will end up with are bloody knuckles and more frustrating. Yeah, could you not tell? I have a big problem with religion. Organised religion has been the blueprint for more missteps than anything I have ever seen in my life. The thing I realised early is that for an organisation that preaches the benefits of love and calls anger a sin, they certainly breed a very opinionated and angry group of people. As I have said, hypocrisy is one of the biggest sins in the world. The effect of hypocrisy is that people are told to be one way. The righteous can do what they please. These people will sincerely go fuck themselves, much like lust. The only other sin that can be misconstrued as an emotion. There is a stigma attached to rage that has been dogpiled over the years by years of misrepresentation of fear. When a person gets mad, people are conditioned to be terrible, to think that the person is immediately going to do something terrible. Some of this can be attributed to what they call the caveman gene, but a lot of it comes down to the propaganda. I'll get angry, the majority of the people automatically think I'm going to kill someone, or beat my kids, or rape a horse, or something else equally insipid. What the biggest sin that anger or much about anger. Anger is a sin when parents beat their kids. The real sinner is the murderer who mangles a victim so badly she is left unrecognizable, or the teacher who ignores that he is supposed to actually teach because he allows his own negative feelings about the children to get in the way, or the wife who cheats on her husband because he did buy her a big enough diamond for her birthday. The wheels on the bus may go round and round, but that bus might run you over if the driver gets fired. There are many levels to anger, and so many ways to use it, in noble ways, but rage carries the power scars of centuries, filled with unchecked degradation. Anger is a powerful weapon in the fight for humanity. Some would rather leave humanity alone, which begs the question, which is the bigger sin, rage or fear? At age goes, evil triumphs when good men do nothing. Why would a good man do nothing to help the world? Is it better thing to fear an unknown, or to use just fire to fight it? He was not posted. What is bravery really? But the potent combination of rage and fear. What is the valor? But being so angry and scared you do the unthinkable. You see anger permanently society. When the niceties give way, we're all just one flight away from eating each other. Can we get along with angry people? Of course we can. We do it every day. We can get along without being angry. Absolutely not. It is in our DNA to coexist peaceably. We can play nice, but we will never willfully cooled off enough, so how can we keep this deadly sin pile? Forget what the idealists and the hippies say rage is here to stay. This is fairly personal for me, because I have always been. I think I gave up being cheery and gleeful when I was young. As soon as my world turned upside down, it was over for me. So I suffered through poverty, humiliation, molestation, and abuse for most of my teens. And with every taunt, my anger grew. With every strike, my mind raced towards the dawn day. That would have my aggression pouring through every street in every country all over the world. I wanted karma to drive states into the dark hearts that kept me bitter most of my adult life. I remember it all. I remember leaving school covered in food because the bullies threw the trays in. I remember memorising all the safe routes home because countless pricks with nothing better to do than jump me at any moment. I remember the prank calls and the toilet paper in my trees and the feeling that I would never be safe. I remember wanting to cry every morning before I left school. I remember the shame and the bruises. I remember coming home to a house that wasn't safe either. Now I remember I know what they do. How their lives are like. Horrible holes, ignorance and banality, morning, noon and night. And because I am still angry, and I always will be, I think of how those knuckle-dragging breathers ended up, and I smile. I may never let go of my wrath, my anger, but I always have the last laugh. Is it bad? The Germans call the feeling of Sachsenfreude, which means pleasure derived from someone else's baby. Is it wrong to be ecstatic because the fucking bullies from my childhood turned into bigger pieces of shit than I could ever have imagined? And they are floundering lives out of it. But I would not wipe my arse with. I guess to some people it would be. Do I think so? Fuck no. Is it a sin? Of course not. It is damn near the definition of being human to be happy when your enemies eat a bigger, helping of shit. Your own portion. How else can we get through days that are quite clearly the worst we ever experienced? There will be a yardstick for our achievement, and it will never be tall enough, and we will always be angry about it, but we can let go of the bitterness. That is terrible, guilty taste that anger leaves you in your mouth. You finally vent it, and leaves you, even though you may have felt the reciprocity. The bitterness lingers. You see, I have been able to release, to tap the valve of hatred and turn it into something positive. But the bitterness circles around me like cigarettes. Maybe it will never go away. It's okay though. It takes a journey to know where you are. Let's talk about something awesome. Like mindless wish kit. Now, before you get all weird and beatnik at me, this is a hardest acidic practice that has gone on for years. Everyone has angrily wished death on total strangers, or at least hundreds of times in their lives. Thinking about it. Think about it. The person driving in front of you, who is either looking at for an address or severely medicated. The person at the airport who have all the time in the world, swerving languidly interrupting the flow of pedestrian traffic. The morons who hold the line up at McDonald's spending 25 minutes for something on the menu older than most people reading this book until they inadvertently order the same number 2 with a Coke. They always fucking order. Mall walkers, dog walkers, speed walkers, slow walkers. All these people are so frustrating. They make us want to chew just stained glass until we pass out from internal bleeding. Impatience can't breathe, faced with fury, in which we wish the most dastardly and fucked up devices of those eating up too much of our precious lifetime. God knows I have. And if you say you are too mature for that, you are either a liar or in denial. We all have to Jack the Ripper. I'll wait through a crowd of people before the bite in our profound little imaginations. It is that the attitude in which the only one who exists today is me. That isn't fine with fancy, but take it from me. There is nothing worse than a passive aggressive anger. I am just the biggest cynic as the next guy. But when a close friend, this bitterness manifests itself into shitty smart ass comments and knock the twinkle off your twilight. Green shit has got to stop. I am the first motherfucker in line to admit I have been extremely lucky in my life. I am fortunate to have a career, my family, even an opportunity to write this book. But when people I have known for decades come at me with remember where you came from nonsense, it drives me straight up homicidal avenue. It is even worse when people openly refuse to recognise what you have achieved in life, and instead treat you like you are still in second grade and it is your fault to spill the milk money. Split the milk money. Grab some pen and paper, children. Here is another free lesson. The best friends you will ever have are the ones who do not make you feel like you owe them a damn thing. Some of my friends have a tendency to insert themselves in places they did not have the right to be. What the fuck do you do there? If you call foul on the plane somehow, you are the arsehole. And that is 5 years in a small city. If you do not, it is your own downfall. And if you go in it alone, see the conundrum. It's even better when your family tax teams thank you Christmas. You officially the worst thing ever other than Coca-Cola. God damn it. It's jolly old Saint Nick. Oh, jolly old Saint Nick, my staff sitting in judgment on the heart. On those fucking toddlers. Acolyte trolls. You can call them elves if you want. I know the truth. And it is the same shit every year. Wish in one hand, shit in the other. Do not get me wrong. I love ties. The next guy, but I draw the line at singing ties. Poor shit. Whoever invented the singing ties should be lined up and beaten with every fucking piece of shit they are responsible for bringing to the world. That didn't ask for them. And do not even get me fucking started on Pete Rose's goddamn Cincinnati Reds. I get it. One guy can make the Hall of Fame because he had huge hands, but old Petey makes a couple of bets and he gets fucked. Do not even pretend that the other players are angelic. Very truthful consequences, New Mexico did that come from. Quite frankly, that just made me pee, but only just a little. It will be dry by the time I get up from my counter space where I'm allowed to write the kitchen, giving me time to have a cigarette, change, be piss free by the time my wife realises I am in bed. That's my reference. It's time management. It is also the story of Jesus. Really, most people would say they're managing mangers before when it came to cleaning. So the last place on earth people would look for me would be the garage, which is all a manger is really. A stable. It's just a garage, wheel horses and shit. Or more to the point, they're shit. Managers will only rent those rooms if they are stacked for the night. The thing about rap is you have to know your boss and who has got their grimy mitts on them. For instance, I hate driving in LA because I hit people. I do not mean hit them in their cars, I mean I hit their bodies with the car. I happen to be driving. This is not my fault. The residents of Los Angeles plod across streets and around corners like they are again, either looking for addresses or waiting to be touched by the actual agent. You can blame the pedestrian right away. You're in California. These fucking idiots just trot on and trot into the middle of the goddamn street. So they are begging to be weeded out of the fucking jungle. But because of this, I have officially hit 47 people in almost as many cars. Don't worry, I will not be arrested because, as a rule, I wear a fake mustache when I drive any city. It seems California has cornered the market of buffoonery. Almost everyone there has a lifetime contract for retaliation, so it is not my fault if they end up maimed or limping from a collision with a ship. You know what I mean? Fuck them. Any group of people that shy that handsome and stupid deserves a few wounds. It builds character. I only wish we made that little fucking smarter. You may be saying to yourself, does this guy even like other people? That, my creepy unseen friends, is a great question. I have no doubts that somewhere in me I am actually quite fond of my galactic travelling pants brothers and sisters hitching a ride in this semicircular celestial body we call home. But for the most part, no, I do not like you. This is not my fault, and it is yours. I'll do my best to get along. You keep fucking it up. That, in turn, pisses me off. So, do you know what the act means? Very simple. If rage is a sin, then I am not guilty because you guys made me inadvertently sin. You are the vicariously vicarious, spreading godlessness like cooties. Rage gets the bolt of lightning because of you. Just fucking yeah. Thanks for buying my book. Besides, I thought rage was a reaction. Rage is not really something you practice. It is the byproduct of adverse stimuli. This changes the whole stuff. Who should be blamed for something other people bring out of you? I think people who elicit the response should bear the weight of the sin. If there ever was a sin in the first place, numbnut humans bring out the worst in each other, and they walk away scot-free. That is a fucking truckload of funky shit. If you make someone feel mad, you get the sin. If you make someone feel greedy, you draw a technical foul on this court. This is just common sense, and if you ask someone to kill someone, they get caught, you could still be charged right along their person, so what is the fucking difference? What is the fucking difference? The reason people are afraid of rage is the violence associated with it. Violence makes people nervous, and nervous people cut up the land and stay on their side. Like I said, everyone gets mad, but not everyone reacts the same way. Violence makes people hesitant to display their true feelings. Violence makes people flinch, allow voices or subway. Violence makes people think twice when dealing with other people. It is the main reason why we in our frustrations, we hold in our frustrations. Which is why we waste our time and money telling our stories to impartial therapists. Sometimes the stagnation of fury builds a conflagration of seething retaliation bent on burning the churches and soiling the fields of our collective satisfaction. I know I sound like some kind of malevolent Nipsey Russell, but I watch the world without presumption, so I can safely say the rot of our reaction will always spoil the fruits of our creation. If you treat a situation a certain way, you will get a specific result. A long time ago, I had faith in people doing the right thing. Unfortunately, reality always intruded on this naive notion. When I was 19, I landed my dream job of working in a music store. It was a chain outlet, but that didn't matter. It was a musical equivalent of working at Wendy's. But I was undeterred. I could listen to music all day and got a sweet discount for the CDs I wanted. But it was a great gig. Even if I had to dress nicely, which I hated doing. But I did it with relish because, for the first time, with the exception of actually playing music, I was good at something. It may seem stupid, but that made me feel normal, and even for me, normal is sorely needed once in a while. There was one problem: I had long hair. This may sound extremely minimal considering today's standards and practices, but even as little as 15 years ago, that was not a very big deal. That was still a very big deal, particularly in the Midwest. I was not dying. I did not have dreadlocks. It was not a crazy hairdo. I just had long hair. What was wrong with that? The answer to that question was a lot. Apparently, you see, in this chain outlet regulations, it stated a man could not be past the collar. I could give 3/5 of a red shit about that, but I was not told. That I made aware of that it was high. So a few months in, the owner showed up to do a walkthrough to see how the store was doing. Without a clue, I was introduced to myself. I introduced myself. He took one look at me and he said, without a glance, he said, he needs to cut his hair. He turned to his assistant and said, he needs to cut his hair or he has to go. My manager did his best to defend me, but the damage was done. They fucking fired me. Are you ready for the really fucked up part? Across town, another store had the same outfit. There was a guy with a longer hair than me, and he had been working there for 7 years. 7 fucking years. The manager at that store kept him hidden during inspections. I used him as an example for why I should be allowed to keep my job, but nobody wanted to rock the boat or say anything. I was fired. He kept his job until that chain outfit went out of business. I can only pray he was using that hair to mop out the porcelains in Toledo to high. So when the chips were down, people told me to save their jobs. Most people. But he did nothing. You might be asking why after all this time am I still a little more about it. In all honesty, I had not even thought about it until I started writing about it just now. So I guess I'm still a little bit pissed about that. Yeah. The reason I'm pissed about it is because because it was not fair, and I am a firm believer in what is fair. If you lose fairly, then you roll, you learn to do better next time. But being bent over felt like a freak, so everyone else can fucking feel better about themselves for another few days. It's not very, this is what I'm still angry about it. Yeah, it should not be that big of a deal, seeing as I've achieved quite a bit over the years. Yeah, it was a temporary job at the best, and I learned a lot from swallowing my pride and accepting that people are still uncomfortable about men with long hair. But I was right. I kicked ass at my job, and I was responsible for boosting profits. I was good at with the customers, and I had been. Nobody else would have been in line for promotion. Even back then, I was not a big fan of compromise, and in the grand scheme of things, it was a trivial matter. But what really should not have mattered was the length of my fucking hair. I was screwed twice, once by the owner and once by my friends. Do you still wonder why I remain mad about it? You give too many people access to your feelings, and you lose grip on how to control them. For me, it was a bitter lesson in loyalty and fairness. Thankfully, people have come into my life to give me faith in those two precious qualities. But I still hold the living breakdowns about most people. I guess I always will. My large point there. There are going to be instances in life that make you mad. If anyone tells you otherwise, you should slap their hand because they just lied to you. So if that is just the fact of life, how can it possibly be called a sin? It is a given. It is a given that you will be angry. The sanctimonious and religious will tell you it is another example of original sin, and that God will be merciful if you ask for his forgiveness. Are you fucking kidding me? Who are you to tell me about God? If there is a God, who the fuck are you to speak for him? Do you know God? Have you met God? Hey, here's an easy question. Are you a fucking liar? Have you ever had the notion it was not filtered through your God Ouija board? Did God send you a text message from heaven? Did he use an emoticon with a halo? These holy rolling snake oil salesmen hold about as much water as a shot glass, but they know every way possible to quench the thirst of the bereft, who are only looking for answers. The darkest moments appear in the crevices we try to avoid. We trapeze through events and characters, clinging desperately to the rope swing, afraid to let go. Meanwhile, the irony that is our essence seeps into those cracks. The result is something the Welsh gaze from each other, so we are absorbed by the surroundings, or surrounded by soil. What comes first, the friction or the fame? We can all drown in dissatisfied mere. Or I hope the world gets money. I hope the world wakes up with its liver missing up the hook of the dope shit. Fucking serves it right for pissing me off. But I emphasise, I get it. We all have problems. We have all got problems. We all have days. We are eating what we eat. Might as well be dog food. We all have days when we feel like there is a sign above our mouths to say piss here, because these peculiar days we have a tendency to shoot dark daggers through our eyes at each other. The souls of the world are crying out in anguish, and they are saying the same thing: fuck off and die. The thing to remember is that you are not alone in any of this mess. We all go through the same things. We all waiting for the steam to subside. If that does not mean that all sinners, then sinners listen up, pull up some floor and cough a squat. Everybody gets a little closer together. Do not be shy. Is everybody cozy? Cool. Check it. We all sin because they say we sin. So, I say we stop fucking listening. We tune them out like a local radio station. We should all feign a certain amount of deafness when it comes to the insanities of the clergy and the devout. But it could be, I hope to be a cynical son of a bitch. That scary bedtime story called the Bible is fine, but it is nothing more than a dusty tomb with a dusty top. Never mind the fact that the Old Testament is just like the Torah. Christians are so lacking in imagination, even though they are still for their own religion. They think they get away with it, but they're only lying to themselves. The devout Jewish look at the Christians the same way Christians look at the Mormons. Or you want to know what pisses me off? You want to know what pisses me off? You all fucking piss me off. You make me sick to my fucking stomach. All the way you all try to fuck each other over. You bring up physical pain in me because you have been on this rock for approximately 200,000 years, and you still cannot get your shit together. You really are sad, starving, exhausted, sorry I'm suffering. About its self-reproduction, and I still cannot get over how much you all look like. That in itself isn't enough to make me want to rip my own eyes out of their sockets and pass them the glory of a pawn shop. But the fact that you are so satisfied and so fucking okay with all this makes it unbearable. If you had more than 2 legs, you would climb walls. If you had more than 2 eyes, you would still have garbage on your breath. So, do you know what I do? I absorb all this misuse energy you cast around like sea at a frat party, and I put it to use. I take all your shit, and all of your sweat, and all of your fucking hate, I save it. So one day, when you two do each other, you're doing to each other what you always do to each other, I will make you all fucking choke. I do not know how, I do not know when. If I could get the whole world to watch showgirls for the rest of its life, I would probably not be as acidic towards it, but because it's not possible. Oh wait, as far as I am concerned, you are not speaking right now, world. I know, I will get over it, but not for a while, not for a very long fucking time. Do you know what I'm angry? You make me angry. That makes me a sinner. You make me a sinner. Go fuck yourself. Okay, and that was chapter 2, the whole of chapter 2 of the 7 Deadly Sins. I'll record chapters 3 and 4 over the next couple of weeks. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.